And welcome back to part 3 of What If Deku had the system from solo leveling? So there was a question that was asked that's legitimate. It's a legitimate question. Could Deku heal Ida's brother, or even All Might, with the potions he's collected from his missions and training in the, let's just call it the Punishment Zone. I don't actually know the name of it. Could he do that? And I watched a video on how the system works. That's how I'm, able to at least do this to some level of confidence. I said some, not complete. And the answer is a yes and a no. Deku, for example, can't give someone a potion and they can drink it. They are specific to him. But what he can do is give someone a potion by holding onto it and giving it to them. So he can just bottle feed them, more or less, or just pour it into their mouth. He can do that. The question would just become, would Deku even know he could do that? I would think that maybe when, his mom has gotten, not, seriously hurt, but, injured, if he offers her a potion, it just disappears. He just assumes he can't do that. I'm not saying he can't figure out how to do that and realize, oh, wait, what if I do this? But because he realizes, oh, it doesn't disappear when it's in my hand. Spoilers, we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But let's carry on. So, as we, it's ironic. I mentioned that a big change happened last time where All for One is still out and about in the world right now because Bakugo just did not get captured. Yet. So we would get to the provisional licenses, plus the signature move course. Deku probably is already developing signature moves, but it's his hero aura, all that. And I'm not gonna lie too, because of just how broken Deku kind of is at this point, I'm not saying we'll be done on this video, but I'm not promising anything. Let's just keep going. I'm just gonna keep going and seeing where we land around the 20-minute mark. So when they get to the provisional license again, Deku just puts up his aura to prevent him from getting tagged by the balls. Toga can't even get a one up on him, nor is she as obsessed with him here because he didn't show up all bloodied. So he's using his aura, his speed and strength are enough that again he doesn't even have to technically use one for all at all. If anything, that is literally just bolstering his abilities. And so he's literally now just saving people left and right. Mind you, when going through the rescue part of that, he can't. It's similar to what happened when he had the Goro Goro no Mi. He can't move at those speeds. He literally can't do that. Otherwise, if he moves at light speed while carrying someone whose body isn't designed for that, they would just burst into just pulp. Now, that being said, he can wrap someone in his aura and do that, but that means he's still got to do it one at a time, and he's still got to wrap his aura, which is not light speed for what it is. By the way, he's not moving at light speed. I'm just using it as a relative term of speed. That's not to say he might not hit it at some point because he's always improving, but still. So he's got to go whoop, whoop, whoop. But he also isn't someone who can just lift the building up and everything will be fine. Similar to how Uraraka was about to lift it up with her float quirk. She can't immediately do that because she wasn't counting the structural integrity. It had to be Momo who pointed it out. So Deku is smart enough to know I can't just lift things up. I actually got to be careful how I take care of this. And so he's doing what he can. Obviously, Gang Orca shows up, and it's mostly Shoto, and I still can't remember that guy's name, the guy with the wind quirk, who had such a badass, I don't actually quite know why he has the badass, arm glove thing, but I'm guessing it channels his quirk better. Regardless, it's still badass looking. He's still had a great design. I wish they did more with him, to be honest. Honestly, I wish he was part of the main cast. Because it really would have been, if anything, it would have been a great rivalry in class that someone else hated Shoto like that. Anyway, so eventually Deku's done saving civilians. He gets in there, hits Gang Orca. He's also got to be careful not to use his full strength on anyone, because at this point he is just flat out stronger than All Might. So if he uses his full strength, he might just obliterate someone. But he's smart enough and can gauge his power enough, particularly training with One for All, that he knows how to calc his own strength. So even at 10%, it's enough that Gang Orca probably goes, actually goes flying back. a little bit. And yeah. And so the exam still ends. Midoriya gets his license. Bakugo doesn't. But when Bakugo tries to challenge Midoriya, he gets caught. Like on their way out of the exam, Bakugo's just fuming, goes to just vent his frustration, and that's when Toga's like, "Hi there, hi there, cutie. So you're gonna have to come with us, Bakugo." So, what the? Yeah. And she just takes him. This is where Bakugo actually gets captured and basically held ransom by the League of Villains. Now, obviously, obviously Deku and the gang try to go rescue him to the best of their ability. This isn't quite the same where they feel it's their fault, but Deku wants to help, and it's like, no, Midoriya, you have to stay here. But you're still injured, and you don't have one for all anymore. It's like, no, I might have. Don't worry, I might not have one for all, but I'm still not done yet. Please wait, no, there's gotta be. And Midoriya thinks, what if I maybe I could heal you? Like, look, kid, I did that. That's really great, but I know you're worried, but it's going to be fine. Besides, look, this is the best. Even the doctors, even Recovery Girl couldn't completely heal me up. Yeah, but I got my quirk. It's like, doesn't your quirk only work for you? And he just tries to give it to All Might, and just, I told you, it's like you said, kid, it's just not going to work. It's like, But then he just sounds like, wait, and then he holds it in his hands, like, it's not disappearing while it's in my hand. Take it. It's like, what? No, just open your mouth. It's like, what is it? What? It's like, you once just told me, eat this. I'm telling you, drink this, but do it. And then, all right. And sure enough, and just and like he has to like, now this is actually a really big question we'd have to ask ourselves. Would All Might be able to maintain his at least his younger form? Maybe not younger, but a more fit version of his thin form. We know he can't maintain his form because of his injuries. And then when he gave his quirk away, his time limit just started to keep running down. Would he not look as skinny anymore? Would he put some meat back on his bones? Obviously, he's also a guy pushing his 60s, I think, at this point, because he said he was a hero for over 40 years. Actually, that's a good one. He was in high school and when he got the quirk. Probably no older than 8. We actually don't know when he was given the quirk. We know he's in high school, so probably at oldest 18. So, and if he's been here, so he's pushing 60. By the time we get to the main story. Hell, don't forget, there's also a year between when Midoriya graduates class and then when he goes into UA. So yeah, he's literally about 50. He's about 59, 60 at that point. I would say this: if he is healed, and even though he's only got the embers of One for All left, he probably does have a more healthier version of him. And it's an unbelievable kid. It's like, I haven't felt, and he actually said, I haven't felt this good in years. I may not have One for All anymore, but with a stronger body, I promise you, I'll definitely bring him back, Midoriya. And so, but Deku tries. The Joy's like, no, I'm sure you'd be able to get the job done, but you only just have your personal license, and a mission this dangerous, we can't justify you coming. I'm sorry. And don't worry, I will bring him back. And so, obviously, All Might and the gang show up. It's like, All Might, One for All for one. And you look tired. Would you rather be taking a nap? And Toshinori, what are you doing? Stop letting getting your head. I'm sorry. It's like, by the way, you're looking better for some reason. It's like, what happened? It seems I chose the right successor after all, Sensei. It's like, Midoriya? I'll tell you later. Let's just do this! And so they have their fight again. They clash. Mind you, it's probably more like, it might be broad daylight when this is happening. Either, or they're just, or like near dusk. I don't see it maybe happening, or then again, it could happen at night. They waited till night. And they start clashing. And One for All for One does know. It's like, you're stronger than I gave you credit for, All Might. But but shouldn't you be tiring out by now? And say, I'm sorry, but I'm full of surprises. This is another question. Because his body isn't as weakened, does he still have the same limit on what shots he had the first time? I got 2, maybe 3 shots left in me. The unfortunate answer to that might be yes, but because he gave one for all to Midoriya so late in this series, he's probably got more like 4, 5, or 6 shots left in him. So when we get to that point, he realizes, like, I've still got about 5 or 6 shots left in me. Then he comes in and boom, boom. And I think he goes all the way to 4. I was like, he fades. And now I still think, deflates his arm. Boom. Hits him again. Clever trick. That's something like, you still weak, though. That's because I didn't put my back into it that time. And just puts him into the ground. And so, yeah, one for all for one would still get caught. All Might still has a little bit left of one for all in him. But he'd save it for, the most important, scenarios. Like, he could still show up on a mission. I don't know if he shows up for, say, like, the Overhaul incident. But maybe I can see that being his last fight. He shows up, he shows up at the very end. We'll get there in a second, though. So, obviously, Bakugo has to retake his exams. Now, Midoriya versus Mirio, when that ultimately happens. I heard you're really strong. All right, then let's go. Whew, that's tough. Though, with the way the system works, he tries to take on Mirio. Mirio actually hits him. Midoriya doesn't go down, though. He's actually shows like, holy crap, he's strong. I was like, I can't get through permeation. So when Midoriya hits him again, this time he's unlocked a new title or ability through his aura. Just it's like, sorry, it's like a star. What is it? New quirk. Phase shift. Phase shift? Ooh, actually, that's not a bad. That's also a good name for a quirk. Phase shift. If you're touching something intangible, you can return it back to a solid matter through a shock. As he and then Midoriya just boom puts him into the ground. Holy! And they're like, he beat Mirio. It's not yet. You haven't. Oh, and he just tries to jump in again. Midoriya's like, sorry, but that's not going to work anymore. Now you can hit basically him when he's intangible. So, and so Midoriya would put him into the ground. He's like, wow, you're really strong. You should do I think it's an internship. Not a work study. It's an internship with Night Eye, and Night Eye's tickling Bubble Girl. It's like, and basically just doesn't agree with what All Might did. Although he does note that Midoriya is strong. Unfortunately, now how could the system counteract Future Sight? That's a really good question. It is a really good question, honestly. Keep in mind too, Midoriya right now does have Float, and he has Danger Sense as well. The other 2 basic quirks that can show up are Black Whip and Fog. I could definitely see Black Whip showing up later on in the Overhaul fight. I don't know if Fog would show up, though. Regardless, could the system figure out a way to counter Future Sight? The problem is it would have to know the Future Sight's even happening. If it can't detect or sense the Future Sight, if Midoriya doesn't actually know what's going on, then I don't think the system could. The system at least has to be aware of what it's interacting with to provide a counter or an up amp or something like that. And because Midoriya's got to be careful about how fast he's going in the room and not wanting to damage the All Mights, I still think he fails this test. Regardless, we would catch all the way up to him meeting Overhaul. Mirio says, no, we can't do that right now. And then obviously him fighting Overhaul, which does not go well because his aura prevents if his aura can resist something like decay, it might be able to resist just deconstruction and reconstruction. And so his aura is out. He keeps his aura out to keep this guy at bay. He's just beating Overhaul down to a pulp. Overhaul is just getting completely and utterly just messed up. All Might is also there with the team as Overhaul turns to this massive beast, Midoriya is standing in there. It's like, oh, Eri! And he reaches out and grabs her with Black Whip. That's when Banjo goes as like awakens in his head, or just says, ha, so I guess it's my turn now. Yeah, you've already gotten the spiel before it gets. I'll just let you know. My name's Banjo. I was the 6th wielder? He was the one before Nana, right? The 6th wielder of One for All. My quirk is Black Whip. It's really handy for grabbing, grappling, and it can be used for a lot of supplement, supportive, and offensive means of combat. So use it well and be careful when Midoriya just grabs on with Black Whip. He all of a sudden, using his aura combined with Black Whip, just makes a giant fist and punches Overhaul. But then All Might's like, the Midoriya is like, All Might, there's no need for you. Keep Eri safe. But I can help. It's like, yes, you can. But a job of a hero isn't solely to defeat the villain, is it? What else is a hero's job? And Midoriya just stops and realizes, to inspire hope and to protect those who need protecting. That's right. All right, villain. Right, villain. My time as a symbol of peace may be coming to an end, but I'll be damned if I'll let you ruin this girl's life. It's like, All Might! And I have 2 shots left. I've got to make them count. And so, he just 2 real shots left. I mean, he can still throw a punch without actually throwing a punch and do like air gusts. He just hits Overhaul from the sides. It's like, smash! It's like, not good enough. Last one. Overhaul. He might not know his name, but we're for the sake of this. Now, you listen here, boy. You may have heard these words before, but listen to them now and let them be burned into your very soul. This is what it means to go beyond. Plus Ultra! And they just, boom! And Overhaul basically just gets knocked out. And farewell, One for All. And then, and so he just, All Might! And All Might kind of walks over. He probably casually walks over because he's not hurt anymore. I mean, he might be a little roughed up from the fight, but Overhaul's now taken care of. And just, that was it. It's like, and instead, he now face to face with Midoriya. And she's like, All Might, is this really the end? He just looks at him, just smiles. And he just points. Now, it's your turn. And All Might and Deku just, and then All Might looks at it and says, well, hello there, sweetie. Are you okay? Yes. Don't worry. He's not going to hurt you anymore. And so, yeah. And then, of course, now Eri's power does start to kind of go a little haywire as they're a little nearby each other's. And Deku's like, Eri! I was like, her power's going out of control. And a lot of people theorized, could All Might get his quirk back with the rewind quirk? There hypothetically is no reason to say he can't, because it's literally rewinding time. It's returning something back to a previous state. It literally is ignoring a lot. It literally is breaking a lot of rules of like time and logic and space and matter manipulation, all that. So All Might standing there, even near her for a little bit, as her power's starting to go haywire, and Midoriya is just trying to keep her in check. It's like, no, Midoriya! He's like, I gotta protect her! And Banjo's like, wait, kid, if you hold on to her, you have no idea how much of your power is I'm gonna protect her! And then that's when Aizawa comes in, and luckily Banjo's like, that was close as hell. Holy, and all the other messages are like, what the hell? Meanwhile, All Might would realize, and he feels like, the spark, the embers, they're back. And he's like, he's thinking, I'm about where I was before the fight. No, if I had to guess, I'd have maybe 3 hits in me, 4 if I pushed it to the absolute max and broke my body. That quirk, holy crap. Now, All Might isn't evil or anything like that. He's not going to be like, I can use it, like, do it like a drug. That is a warped fanfic you do where All Might turns out to still be a good person but does a bad thing, keeps Eri as kind of like a permanent drug to recycle his power. It's like, no, I must be the hero. I'm gonna inject me with Eri. But yeah, he realizes like, seems I'm not quite done yet. And so after that, you would get the festival where Gentle Criminal tries to ruin it. Midoriya just basically ends his career fast. Like, he just packs him away. Like, when he tries to do his was it not rubber quirk, but whatever it is that makes things elastic. I can't remember the name of it. Midoriya just counteracts it by solidifying it, getting a new ability. His aura just breaks through it, and he just kind of puts Gentle into the ground. I still think, though, he would say you're the toughest opponent I've ever fought, not because he was the strongest, but because it was a moral dilemma he was under, or he was in. And then obviously probably using both his aura quirk and all that, they'd make Ares, day great. When it came to the joint training, we're only at 20 minutes. I can keep going. I can keep going quite a bit here. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to call it right now. We're just going to finish this out today because at this point, I'm really just, because remember, I've said it before, I actually don't make money on my channel. So I just do this for fun. If anything, I'd just be doing it for the views, and there's no point in doing that. So yeah, let's just wrap it up. In the joint class training arc, Midoriya really, there's no real reason Midoriya might even have fog at this point. Now, the only two quirks he probably wouldn't have right now are Fajin and Gear Shift. Again, he has to really kind of talk it out with those guys first. But yeah, like he decimate Monoma. Like Monoma tries, and so does Shinso try to like put him down, but he can literally just speed blitz the entirety of his verse at this point, and if he wants. And most of the characters he's fighting do not have abilities that would be able to counter that. So Monoma, he just throws a gust of air at him, just kind of pots him away. Monoma tries to grab his quirk, but Midori just puts up his aura. He's like, nope, not letting you take my quirk. No way. And that would be scary. If Monoma gained his quirk, system, mind you, system. Now, because he technically has two quirks, that would be problematic, to say the least. That's a very good question. I don't think we ever considered that. Because Monoma's quirk works very simple. He touches someone with a quirk, and he can copy the basic elements of that quirk. What happens when he touches someone with multiple quirks? Like, at that point, when he touched Midoriya's hair, he only had One for All, but One for All carried all the quirks in there, and he had activated Black Whip at that point. But because that's wrapped in with One for All, I don't think that counts. And I guess that means they probably couldn't snag System either, because One for All is wrapped up in it. But what if he touched, say, a Nomu? Nomus tend to have multiple quirks added on there. Like, we know, for example, the first Nomu we ever saw had super strength. He had shock absorption. He had high-speed regeneration, among other things. So, what happens when someone with multiple quirks gets touched by Monoma? Assuming it's not One for All. Like, could he snab One for All? Sorry, All for One. He can't snab All for One. Sorry, One for All, because it's a storage thing, and he can't snatch quirks that involve building something up. But can he absorb quirks that just steal things? Because that's not what All for One does. All for One, it stores, but it also just steals. So in theory, he could snag All for One. Or, I don't know, it's a gray area. I don't think it's brought up very much. Let me know what you think on that. But even if he did snag System, he can only have System for so long. And he'd probably not really understand a lot of what's going on. So Midoriya just quickly has to be like, boom, put you into the ground fast. No, sorry, buddy, this ain't happening. And with Shinso, he probably has gained now an immunity to brainwashing. So he can't even be brainwashed anymore. Then they'd go into their internship with the Endeavor. Take care of that. Again, a villain who's got a weird power but a cool design. That weird striped villain. And then you'd really just get into the war arc. And I'm going to tell you right now, straight up. Shigaraki wakes up. And Midoriya at this point may actually have Fajin and Gear Shift. Like, he's talked with them for a while. Said, no, I'm not giving up. This is who I am. And this is who I choose to be. And like because I can't remember exactly what the parameters for them agreeing to it was, but I get to see Midoriya just talking it out with them and saying, no, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do. So when Shigaraki shows up, it doesn't matter how far. He's not, first off, he's not complete yet. And Midoriya can resist decay at this point. In fact, he might be straight out immune to it. So when he decays the ground, Midoriya uses the black whip, just hoist everyone up. And Shigar's like, what? It's like, sorry, not gonna fly. And he actually literally using the power of system to up himself even further and further. Has literally can still float onto people. He's like, I'm just gonna keep you guys up here for now. And then he just goes to town on Shigaraki. He could kill Shigaraki outright if he wants to here. In fact, actually, what I could totally see Midoriya doing, legit, is a Naruto. What do I mean by that? In the fourth Shinobi World War arc, he literally gave a Jin cloak to everyone. Here, I could see the aspect of his hero stats of only making everyone else heroes, giving his resistances in the temporary aura to everyone fighting Shigaraki. That would actually be pretty balls awesome. Balls awesome. That's a weird statement, but I stand by it. Balls awesome. It'd be pretty balls. And so now everyone is getting aura enhanced. Like Baku's explosions get aura enhanced. So does Shoto's fire. Even Endeavor's body recovers from overheating. And so they are all going to town in Shigaraki, and just like, this is not good. What the hell? And he just implores gear shift on him. And even All For One, who is in prison at the moment, is like, no, this is not what was supposed to happen. And ultimately, I could totally see, and the system would honestly be the perfect counter to All For One, because it would prevent stealing of power. He eventually would develop an ability that would prevent the stealing of power. And so ultimately, I think Deku, literally shoves his aura into Shigaraki and just starts burning out everything that was done to him. And basically, new ability unlocked, Purification. The ability to negate augmentation, and anything unnatural will be burnt out, including his decay quirk. Because Tomura Shigaraki's decay quirk isn't actually natural to him. That was given by we find out that was given by All For One to him as a long-term plan. And because he befriended the family, he literally was playing the long game with that entire family from the get. And so that decay quirk also would literally just burn out. So Shigaraki would ultimately just fall to the ground, and even Deku's like he's huffing, like that took a bit out of him. It's like, what is it? I got rid of it, all of it. All your quirks gone. No, how could you? That's impossible. Anything, my ability, and he says, my aura, I learned the new ability, Purification. Anything that wasn't natural to you was burned out. But my quirk, my decay quirk, it's my quirk. And they realize, wait, if it's not natural, not if I burned it out, it's not. And it takes him a minute to realize what that means. Like Shigaraki, my decay quirk, what? No, it's mine. I woke in it and it just slowly starts to dawn on him. Like, no, that would mean, it just kind of screams at the air. Gigantomachia comes in, and Deku again just has to. Deku's definitely tired out at this point, but it's like, no more, and just comes in, just cracks Gigantomachia using one for all, and his score just knocks Gigantomachia out. It's like, can you do that? It seems to be a conglomeration of quirks, which we have no idea how many quirks went into Gigantomachia. And Deku's like, I could try, and he just and maybe one or two quirks burn up. I can't, I'm too tired. Holy crap, this is the first, I have never felt like this before. I've never been this tired. Holy crap. And, he's got, gets a stamina boost, all that. And the amount of experience he gets from putting those guys down, dear God. So this poses a really big question. What the hell does All For One do? His prized vessel that he's been grooming since he was a child is no more, legitimately burnt out. And so he's like, no. And so he might have to just spend more years like waiting and planning, but he doesn't have that. He's got to get out of jail first. And look, honestly, Midoriya probably would be able to find him without that much difficulty if he just gains the ability to search out like power or quirks or mana or whatever, do a gaming system version of searching. And yeah, like eventually it will just come down to him confronting One for All and burning all the quirks out of his body until you think this is over. Don't you, boy? And I ultimately see it coming down to Deku just standing over One for All. You think you're the new symbol of peace, do you? And you're nothing. All might is this world is nothing. I still have you burnt out everything unnatural, but my quirk is still mine. It's like, you're right, but you're right. And so Deku basically just that's why you're not. That's why, and he just puts his aura in there one more time, and he basically just says, "That's why I can't burn your quirk out, but I can make it so you can't use it ever again." And essentially, he does like some sort of like similar to what you get in Avatar, not removing bending, but basically does like a mental and biological shutdown, like a purification, like almost like a holy seal on them. Just what? And he just tries to steal it. You wouldn't be able to steal my quirk. And like, no. No, it's like, you give me your quirk. No, I am the Demon King. I am the Demon. And then he's taken away in that house. And so, even though League of Villains might try to do stuff, Deku would literally just be there to mop up the floor and probably save them all, including Toga, who Deku probably does admittedly say, like, he's not into, but you do have a beautiful smile. It's like, you shouldn't have to hide who you are. And she smiles like, Deku. And so maybe she ends up fighting. Now, Dobby still gets killed, obviously. Although, maybe if he's got a resurrection thing going on there, which he probably would at this point, just pop, gulp, just, I'm back. The reason I just felt it made sense to just speed through is because Deku became broken after the first episode. Like, maybe a couple characters could have competed and beaten him at that point. But once you got to the end of the second episode, giving him One for All and this, was she just going to keep improving till the end of his days? Yeah, there's really no logical sense in it. Like, just prolonging this more than we had to. So, that's the end of this one. I will put the poll up to pre-recording this Wednesday. The poll will already be up. The next two, though, will be a lot more interesting and give us a bit more nuance, particularly the Force one, but we'll see. I have a feeling that will be the winner, but we'll see. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.